When I started the carnivore diet nearly 3 years ago, I was told that it was dangerous for me. I was told that it would wreck my health, that it would catch up to me later and leave me in worse shape than I was already in. And it wasn't just people online that would say that, or trolls or carnivore Karen channels. This is from people that I trusted. People that I would trust to give me health advice and diet advice. And if I can just be honest, I started to believe them. And it brought out some fears for me to start this thing. If you're new here, I'm Jordan. This is Goforth&Carnivore, where I share my real life and real results with you. This isn't just some theory or some made-up story. This is the true lived experiences that I've got to share of my healing along the carnivore journey. This isn't hype and this isn't perfection. This is just sharing what the journey has been like for me. And today, I want to talk about what fears I had about starting the carnivore journey, and then what actually happened. Before I came to carnivore, I was not a healthy man. I had autoimmune issues, I had inflammation, I had food addiction that led to emotional eating, and that emotional eating led to yo-yo dieting, and all of that led to me trying to find a cycle of moderation that just kept on failing me. I tried balance, I tried everything the right way, but could never find health. And when I stumbled across the carnivore lifestyle, it didn't feel trendy, but it also didn't feel extreme, if that sounds shocking. It felt like a last resort. With my health, with my lifestyle at that time, it truly felt like a life or death decision for me. And I knew that I had to make a change. One of the biggest fears I had is that I would wreck my health. Which, looking back, it very much shocks me. Because at the time, I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, I had gout flare-ups, I had awful anxiety, I had panic attacks, I had the worst case of sleep apnea, and I was already starting to feel the repercussions of long-term damage within my health. And I knew that couldn't be healthy. I was on 5 different medications that consistently left me feeling lethargic, awful, not very well rested, and never having mental clarity. But on the flip side of that, even just a month into carnivore, I was able to see some of that starting to reverse. I was able to see the mental clarity come back. I was able to get full nights of rest, even with the sleep apnea that I had for a bit. I was able to see that I didn't have to have high blood pressure all the time. And I found out that being stressed up to here all the time wasn't normal. It was something that I battled with and was able to start to overcome on the carnivore lifestyle. And people warned me about the carnivore diet. All you're doing is eating meat, eggs, and some butter. You're telling me that you are going to be healthy doing that? And to be fair, that made complete sense. Because everything we've been told through grade school into college or anything you see on TV is really the complete opposite of how we should be living. People try to throw all these health foods at us that we sit there and we can't even read the list or even simply pronounce the words. But yet I'm the crazy one because all I'm doing is sticking to meat, eggs, and butter. And it took time, but I was able to show myself and others how this was truly working for me. About how it was working within me, it was changing the way I felt, and it was changing the way I was living my life. What surprised me the most wasn't the weight loss. Don't get me wrong, seeing those pounds go down from being a 399-pound man down to starting carnivore at 370 and then making my way down to the mid-200s, that was a huge feat. But that wasn't the best part. It was the internal healing. It was getting my headspace back, regulating my emotions, getting to find that real joy again that I've always had within me. It just felt like it was suppressed by the lifestyle of health that I carried. It wasn't about the pounds. It was about the calm. The second fear I had was sustainability. After spending nearly my entire life, literally my entire adulthood, of yo-yo dieting, I didn't know if I could hack it. I was scared because you would see all these stories of people who would lose so much weight, going on shows like The Biggest Loser and just competing to lose weight. And then the moment they quit, they gain all the weight back. But what I truly found within the diet wasn't a sustainable weight, but a sustainable life. I was able to see that cholesterol go down. I was able to get off of the blood pressure medicine. I no longer had gout flare-ups. I was able to get off of my sleep apnea machine. All of these different issues that were stacking up against me, I was able to sustain not being in that life anymore, but sustain being in the lifestyle of carnivore. The meat, the eggs, and the butter, what was truly what was sustaining me. No longer did I have to negotiate, can I eat this? How much of this can I eat? Any of that. On the carnivore, I realized as long as I'm eating meat, specifically for me, as long as I was eating red meat, I would eat until I was content, and I would be done until the next day. It made it simple. It didn't make it restrictive. I was actually finding a rhythm that I could stick with to keep the weight off for longer than just a few months. I'm a structure guy. I need structure. And so for some people, the structure feels like it's a prison. But for me, the structure freed me. I knew if I went to this, that I would feel better. If I felt better, I could live the life I always wanted to live. The third fear I had was the social isolation. I feared that I would never be able to go to a restaurant again. I felt that I would never be able to go to a party with friends. I felt that I would never be able to go to a work event where there was food. But if anything, it taught me what I was really enjoying during that time, that presence, that time that I was spending wasn't just about the food. It was getting to be with those friends. It was getting to spend time with coworkers. It's about getting to be with my family, not around a pizza where my family's in attendance. I was fearful that I'd be miserable. I was fearful that I'd be missing out, or I was fearful that I'd become that guy, the one who always talks about their diet. And while, yes, I do talk a lot about my diet because I want to share this with the rest of the world, I'm not miserable. I'm not missing out. Sure, I've eliminated a lot of things from my life, but I would give that up 100 times over to feel the way that I do right now. These nearly 3 years on carnivore has changed everything for me, from head to toe. I could go from story after story of the diets that I've tried, the juicing, the HCG, the broth diets, all of these things, the Weight Watchers even. All of these things that kept me stuck in this cycle of dependence on other things and other people, rather than finding that health within myself by eliminating all these things that kept me down. Carnivore has changed everything for me. Carnivore just isn't a diet. It is truly a life that I am living. It's a life that I live in this very moment. And one more fear that I had was that there was no way I was going to be able to afford it. By living on carnivore, I was going to put myself in hundreds of dollars of debt to be able to eat meat, because who could eat meat and sustain themselves? But I quickly learned it was what I chose to eat, when I chose to eat, and how I chose to eat it that really dictated how I spent that money. Because nearly 3 years into carnivore, I eat 1 meal a day. So with that 1 meal a day, I can eat a 20-ounce ribeye and save more than those who eat the standard American diet, going to eat fast food, and eating multiple times a day. I'm able to Eat like a king for one meal rather than eat like a peasant multiple times a day. I always say I fast so that I can feast. Sure, I do have to be very careful with my budget because I have 3 kids and a wife to help take care of. But I am able to see the cost savings by eating the way I am and scheduling things out, meal prepping, bulk buying, and making sure that I'm ready to go rather than letting the food make the decisions for me. So it's simple. But I want to be very clear. Carnivore is not magic. It takes discipline, it takes sacrifice, and it takes consistency. Because if you do not come into carnivore with those 3 things, you're going to yo-yo back and you're going to blame carnivore for everything that you did wrong. But I'm telling you, if you maintain consistency, you're truly eating meat, eggs, butter, and sure, the occasional dairy. Trust me, you are going to find a health that you've never had before. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm some medical doctor and lining out the science of everything, but I can tell you through my personal experience and the experiences of those around me, even within my own household, of how it has changed so much in so many lives. So say you don't want to start carnivore today. Start looking at your label. Start realizing what you're ingesting. Can you pronounce the words on the label of the items that you're buying? Can you even look up those ingredients and tell me that you can eat those and still feel good after having them? Even walking down those health food aisles of everything saying sugar-free, fat-free, and you turn it over and you don't even realize what's in it. Come back to whole foods. Stay on the outside of that grocery store. And when you feel ready, start eliminating all of those carbs, start eliminating those vegetables, and realize that you're able to sustain yourself with the carnivore life. Oddly enough, carnivore gave me a foundation that I had never had before. I couldn't have healed without eliminating so many things that kept me feeling awful. So I do want to say, carnivore works best for those who need the structure. People needing freedom from inflammation, irritable bowel syndrome, food addiction, emotional eating. Carnivore brings that structure to simplify and to keep you moving forward to enjoy life, but also get to have a new life. A life that I never knew I was able to have before carnivore. There are no shortcuts on carnivore. It's pretty simple. It's pretty basic. So if you're the type of person who's looking for a shortcut, maybe it's not for you. Because there's no fad injection. There's no fad plan. It's meat, butter, and eggs. And you find that consistency within that. You find that contentment within that. So if this video has helped you, I encourage you to like it and share it with someone who's looking to start carnivore, or someone who has dropped carnivore and is looking to pick it back up. Because we're here to encourage one another and to continue to build that community to where everyone can know the freedom that they have by eating simple whole foods rather than finding constraint within a box of labels that you can't even pronounce. And if you want real, honest conversations about my carnivore journey, hit that subscribe button so you can see what's coming up next. And hey, if you're unsure, overwhelmed, or even afraid, you don't need to be perfect. Just find the right next meal, and then the next meal, and then the next meal, and then the next meal. And then who knows, you could be sitting there nearly 3 years out getting to share how your life has been changed by you taking control of your diet. Let me know in the comments, what are your biggest fears of the carnivore journey? Or what was your biggest fears when you started carnivore? I want to hear from you. Let's encourage one another. But until next time, go forth and carnivore. Bye, guys.